Okay, hi, I'm David Bowman. It's nice to meet y'all. I'm a software engineer. I've been doing this for, I guess, a couple of decades. I am the person that comes here once a quarter and tries to shill people to use Effect. This is another one of those occasions. So, just to kind of preface, and what time is it? It's 23 past. So, to kind of preface, like, my job, I function as a freelancer. It's what I've done for however old I am, I don't know. I've never had a real job. So people come to me with problems and then they pay me money to solve them. And I've solved enough that somehow it's become a career. But I preface it like this to mention that the people who come to me have problems that they need solved today. They're new problems, new businesses, generally not legacy code. So what's kind of cool about what I do is I'm generally on the bleeding edge. So is it like Effect v4 beta? That's what's going to production. Drizzle 1 v1 beta? That's going to production. Like, it's okay. Like, their businesses are small. Like, I use open telemetry for everything. I'll find the problems live and fix it. I create all the issues in open source projects. This is an interesting issue where, like, AI is hot for a couple of reasons. One is that CEOs have a lot of money need to be able to tell their investors and their boards that they're using AI. And two is it's actually pretty effective. So it's both like a little bit of, showmanship, but there's actual value. Users, I deal with tons of users. Users are the people who go to the websites and they click the buttons and they find the shortest way through the funnel to buy whatever your product or service is. If they do not purchase, you failed to have them click the right buttons in the right order. I preface it again like this to mention that users are now engaging in sites in different ways, particularly with AI. Where the platform of going to a website and scrolling and clicking on links is sadly slowly dying. I prefer websites without pictures. I really like, the Cloud Code terminal. Like, I really don't need colors or things like that. But users like to be able to type into the chatbots. I'm telling you I've now seen hundreds of marketing dollars pour into sales funnels. People will talk to your chatbots. I promise you they will. Like, conversion, if you're hitting 2% not using a chatbot, you might hit 3 or 4% total conversion for your entire pipeline if you instigate some type of like AI chatbot. People love it. Whatever. The difficult part is, how do I build a chatbot that functions in production? If you've used AI whatsoever, the difficulty is, how do I get structured outputs? Now, Riley was kind enough to teach me about structured outputs with AI, but I need more. I need guarantees. Like, I write back-end services. I create schemas. I need things to encode and decode across the network boundary in a very particular way. If they don't, my application and my workflows fail. And that can't happen within the marketing and sales funnel, or else I burn through all my clients' dollars and I lose my job. So I wanted to talk about today is, by using Effect, how we can write chatbots in pure code, no library, no buying a software as a service, how you can go home and write your own. You can allow the free flow of people chatting with the chatbot, talking to your prompts, learning about your services, while also giving it particular cool tools to have deterministic outcomes. For example, authentication. I need your first name, I need your email address, I need to validate it. AI is not going to do it for me. And it's that intermingling of deterministic services alongside the fun of AI being able to educate your users' unique problems. The other thing that's very nice about this is you can scale it immediately. You just give more money to Anthropic or wherever OpenAI is, and that's like, instead of paying customer service on pre-sales overseas to sit with their little headsets on all day, you can just send it to Anthropic and it will listen to your prompt exactly. That's the premise. I wrote this little article. You don't have to read it. I'm going to tell you about it. It's called Cage and Chaos, Building Deterministic AI Chatbots with Effect. I wrote a lot of the words here. I wrote all of the headlines. So if you think they're clever, that's me. The paragraphs, I'm not sure anyone's read them yet. So again, my premise, users are prompting. Your product should be ready. I want to let you know, again, hundreds of millions of marketing dollars. It does work. You make money by creating chatbots. Users love them for not just healthcare, which I generally work in, but pretty much anything. Another little thing, I talked about this, I think maybe like 6 months ago. IETN, internationalization, is very smooth with chatbots as well. So if you're trying to sell products, like if your CAC for some type of software as a service is like $150 per user, or maybe even just to get a lead, $200, like you start throwing it in like Spanish, French, whatever, you don't have to sit there and hire customer service in French or Spanish. You could scale across multiple languages, lower CAC by like 7/8. I have a lot of clients right now creating TV commercials, ads into Spanish, French, other languages, because even a small percentage of that at 1/18 the marketing cost or whatever, it's basically free cash. So that's the premise. Layers, prompt, what to talk about. Okay, something that's interesting to kind of mention around prompting, similarly to like it would have been cooler to talk about months ago, if you're building some type of AI layer, you have different levels of prompts. Here, we have a system prompt. It's something generic. It wraps all of your other prompts. It says something like, here's what you have to do. It's the first thing that your AI reads, and you pray that it listens. The second thing is page prompts. So maybe they're on some type of onboarding flow, and now they're at payment, and you're asking for their money. The AI chatbot, which you're keeping statefully throughout all of your onboarding thing, it needs to know certain things on some pages. We don't want to confuse users. Like a user should never be on the authentication flow and they'd be like, where do I put my payment processing information or my credit card information? And it says something like, just fill out the form. The form doesn't exist on that page. So you have a general system prompt that wraps everything in page prompts, and why not another little thing, context injection. So whether you're using local storage or whether it's a session ID and you're storing it in a database, you also want to sometimes maybe add system data there, like the user has clicked this button, the user has moved to this page, because the AI is kind of reading this as some type of story that it reiterates through every single time you ask a question. That's prompting. Yeah?
Could you zoom in a little bit?
I don't know how.
Plus command plus. There you go.
Is that good? Yeah, it's code. This time you can see we added syntax highlighting, provided by Astro 6, owned by Cloudflare. Yeah, so like, it's a little upgrade. So here's like this one, giving AI hands and tying them. It's like the one time I get Be Clever a month. So I want to talk about tools. So you want to kind of imagine, like, what does AI do? Does anyone know what AI is as a product? It's an employee replacer. We replace our employees with AI. It's artificial intelligence. Artificial being the prime word, replacing what? General intelligence, or generally less intelligence. But what we have to do is, just like how we train our employees, we have to not just train our AI with prompts, but we have to give them tools. You can't send a plumber to someone's house without whatever plumbers use. You have to give them the wrench, the hammer, the nail gun. I'm teasing, I know what plumbers use, but you need to give them tools. And inside of tools, where do you put your tools? A toolkit, like your little thing that people carry around, probably more masculinely. But here's the thing, is your AI, as they're moving through onboarding or customer service or whatever type of flow you're tossing them into, there's going to be a toolkit where they put all their tools, and some of those tools they use on some jobs and some of the tools they use on other jobs. If they're fixing a pipe, maybe they need a wrench. If they're fixing some drywall, maybe they need some hammer, nail gun, or whatever it is that doesn't destroy your walls. So what we can do with Effect is you can create tools. It's pretty easy, tool.make. They already have a library. It's basically just a function that's owned by a service layer. So your tools live inside the toolbox service layer. You could define it yourself, but then you'd have to write it. It's very simple. We just create tools. It has a description, parameters, it has a success. Here it returns an array. It can return any type. This is just an interface for any type of function. So you could have it return some type of structured data output or some type of whatever it is. The point being is that this is success is what's going to be decoded against, across the network boundary. So we guarantee the outputs using tools. And then toolkits, you can have more than one. Maybe there's a toolkit for onboarding, a toolkit for customer service. Maybe sometimes the tools are shared in multiple toolkits. Maybe they're not. But the benefit here is, again, we get to do what? We get to do my favorite thing on planet Earth, which is write pure functions. Pure functional programming without side effects. You create your tools, they exist singularly, you toss them in whatever toolbox you want them to, and then you apply them to your service layers. You have tools and you have toolboxes. I keep going the wrong way. So, again, I haven't looked at this for like 2 weeks, so let me try to remember how this works. This is just some code for chatbot. You can ignore that. A chatbot is just basically I'll just show it to you. I have a demo which I'm trying to get to. Here I have some type of schema, has a conversation ID, has a message, has tool results. So I want to store deterministic outputs. inside my schema. Generally, this is going to exist in a database. I'm encoding and decoding it every single whatever. You pay the 200 milliseconds, it's fine. By the way that you deal with the 200 millisecond wait, typewriter animation. Like, wow, is that pretty? Like, you really feel like you're talking to someone. It also allows you to statefully sit there and call your database functions, whatever it is, without anyone knowing. Some type of optional whatever. As you can see here, we're using enums, just like God intended. And registration data. I'm now remembering, this is about registering. I haven't looked at the website in like a week. Okay, so again, I mentioned kind of a bit of my premise. When AI shouldn't decide. The problem is AI is non-deterministic. I don't care about the structured outputs. I need guarantees. Like if my client's gonna sit there and spend $5 million over a weekend, and he's gonna try to get hundreds and hundreds of thousands of visits, I don't get to say, oops, it failed 5% of the time, and that affects your entire business model. I need deterministic outputs that I can guarantee, or at least something that I can fix later on. So what do? We build a state machine. A state machine, whatever, I'll call it a Cloudflare workflow. In this case, you can use, again, the effect workflow, which is like the Cloudflare workflow, except for it exists on a beautiful server, and it's cached in Postgres at every step, and you can restart it every step with idempotency, without having to sit there and store your own idempotent keys wherever in Cloudflare and having it fail every single time. Not pointing at any particular direction. But so what I want to do, who cares? So I sat here and I wrote case switch, but really you should be using effect match cods, which is the new V4. Wow. Very nice. It makes you feel like you're writing Haskell again. It brings a lot of joy. So, okay, I talk here, zero latency answers, whatever. There's a lot, I'm running low on time. Let's get to the demo. Boop, boop, boop. Oh God. Now I have to make it smaller. Command minus? Okay. So here's kind of an example of what wraps everything together, and I should change this. This does use OpenTelemetry. At one point I had it working on the front end as well. I found OpenTelemetry on the front end measuring spans. There's too much clock difference between the front end and the back end. It just looks like nothing's happening for like 1,000 milliseconds. It's really disappointing. But here, what we have here is this is a server cluster, so my website runs both on my laundry room and also on the VPS I pay for. It's on the server. It creates a workflow. Visitor arrives, education, registration, product selection, confirmation. This is a workflow. It's branded to the particular cluster it's on. So is this one running in my laundry room? Who knows? It could be. But if the laundry room goes down because it flooded, that's why we pay $10 a month. So here is kind of a chatbot, and I try to sit there and simulate it in a demo as well as possible. We have a home page, registration, dashboard. Imagine these are different pages. I was too lazy. So instead of pages, they're just stateful pages. But this uses a live workflow cluster. If it fails, I'll be embarrassed and shamed live right here. So here it's a home page. You can see here is a system prompt. What's important here to kind of notice, and you can't see because you can't see the code, is this isn't text. It's actually pulling it from my server prompts in the database. So if I change it, it'll be there. We have a system prompt, we have a page prompt. It asks, how can I help you? Now, did I pay for AI? No, I didn't. Everything here is fake. It's canned responses. By the way, this type of stuff, if your clients are trying to make money, customers love this type of stuff. Notice how it gives try, ask me anything. No, but the secret to e-commerce is engaging people. It doesn't matter how you engage them. People want to have a fun sales experience. I want to sign up. You want to show them that they can ask questions. If I want to say something like, how are you? It's going to give the same response. Because I didn't want to pay for AI, because I don't trust anyone here to sit there and not bombard my account. But the other thing is sometimes I want to give guaranteed answers, like around pricing or things like this. I can offer canned responses or canned questions, like what do you offer? Tell me about your services. I want to sign up, things like this. What's your pricing? Where it will pull direct data out of the database, but then again, look like you're having a live chat. So maybe things shouldn't be prompt specific. You want to give legitimate answers, to protect you from lawsuits or whatever it may be. You could sit there, ask them whatever questions you want, and then we'll wait one more second. Okay, I'm ready to sign up. Very cool. But what happens? This is a system response. I would love to help you sign up, but you can't do it. The create account tool, which is on our registration toolkit, only exists on the registration page. So now that I'm on a separate page, it has access to more tools within the toolkit or a separate toolkit here. Now I can sit there and say, I'm ready to sign up. And again, you can sit there and have some back and forth in chat. I should mention that I've learned that people actually like input fields in the chat. You would think that you would be okay, typing this here, but it turns out that users are okay typing in input fields embedded within chat, especially in mobile, which is where most people interact with this stuff. They don't mind clicking, you automatically focus into the box, but they like typing into it. What's my last name? My name is Bowman, still. What's my email? fake@fake.com, like everyone else's.
You should refocus the chat box after hitting enter.
I did on my production site for my client. I haven't.
You don't even use AI here.
I was going to talk about this a month ago, and I forgot. So then here we get some type of confirmation, and something interesting here is I have something called prompt overriding. So not only can I click on the chip here that says yes, but if I type the word yes, God willing, it will actually sit there and, I typed it in wrong. Oh, you know what? Watch this. Like, will it fail my validation? So I still am sitting there and checking against my schema validation. So that way, you can do AVS type of stuff, throw it into Google places, whatever, get the shortcode so that, you can trim. Now let's see, yes. It sits there and it creates my account. It has access to the tool results of the create account. And now I can move into I have to sit there and select my product. You'll see here that ready to register, create account, get products. That's the access to the tools and the toolkit it has. I select my product. It says I did a good job. Now I can go into the dashboard. I can ask questions like my billing. Here it has access to the tool check order status, get specific things. Importantly, you can't do this in registration or the homepage or whatever.
That was 2 years ago.
Huh?
February 4th, 2024 was 2 years ago.
Yeah, sorry, the cutoff date for knowledge of this website ends at February 1st, 2024. And here you can sit there and see, like, it's not too complicated. You can see here we're using beautiful options just like God intended. But here's kind of my point, and I know that I've run out of time here. I once again have come to you with a request to use EffectTS in all of your services. I write millions and millions and millions of lines of production code every single month at this point. But like EffectTS, if you have to build a new application, it will teach you to engineer interesting solutions. You can sit there and still function within the AI pipeline, but allow deterministic outputs that allow you to not fail 5-10% of the time and kill your client's marketing budget. I have all the code here, whatever, I don't know. You just go on Discord and look at anyone who sent the message in the past 7 months, it's probably me. Go to my website, review it, and then, for next time, building type-safe databases with Effect again, and I can show you how I invented something which I'm not sure other people have ever done. Migration tests. Has anyone ever done a migration test?
Smart.
Yeah. So let me show you this super quick. You can sit there and create schema arbitraries. You could run migration 1, test user v1 data, then run migrations 2 through 7, and then ensure that user v1 data can log in a year later and it passes all encoding and decoding. So for next time, get excited. So
Nice.
That was great. In fact, it seems like the natural way to not get sued,
yeah.
because your code has a much lower chance of fucking up.
Look at the arbitrary generation too. That's real. You can catch production issues in testing by ensuring that your validation doesn't fail. Very nice.